predicted that. Traders,
Uh,
huge.
yeah.
I think it has potential. So I'm here for it. Teddi, I'm sorry. Sounds like Teddy's a little jealous of Denise fucking Richards, if you want my opinion, but that's just me. What?
Here's the
Yeah.
new show, by the way. It's going to be a groundbreaking reality TV show with an all transgender female cast called the Girls Club. Girls Club is spelled GWORLS. 13
GWORLS. Okay.
girls, like
Girls. Okay. And what else does it say?
13 transgender women coming together to get the bag. It airs on Troy Next Network on July 8th. I've never even heard of them.
To get the bag. All right. Well, that sounds like an interesting show. I can't even imagine what's happening. Oh my
Well,
God.
maybe that's what people want to see. You can subscribe today for just $4.99.
We're gonna have to pay for it. Okay.
Everything you have.
What else? Anything? What else did you want to ask me?
Well, I wanted to ask you really quickly. I know you talk mostly in New Jersey on your Patreon. Of course, that's where the good tea is. But what did you make of? Can you give us any insight? What happened to Teresa's old podcast, and why does she have a new? Is it the old podcast branded, or is the former old co-host gone? What is it? Teresa's new podcast is Teresa Giudice flipping the table.
I know so much about this.
Oh,
I've known so much about this. This literally would require 4 to 7 hours.
what?
4 to 7 hours. But it's the same podcast. Let me give you, without going into any detail, because, like, I mean, where does one start? It's the same podcast company. Namaste Bitches is wiped from Apple. You cannot find it anywhere.
Okay.
How often does a podcast get wiped? When a
Usually
podcast,
never. I've never even heard that.
except when lawyers are involved. So, mom, from a very reliable source, her ex podcast host has a lot of money, and there was a lot of falling outs. And Louis did scream at the podcast host at BravoCon, but it's a lot of other stuff. And lawyers were involved, and that Namaste Bitches you cannot find anywhere,
By
anywhere,
the way,
anywhere. And look, Teresa's, I mean, again, it's like if New Jersey comes back, which I think it will, and if Teresa comes back, which I would say I'm only given 51% to that, but she's either coming back or we're doing a reboot. It's still going on pause for a really long time. So I just want to know, what is Teresa and every other podcast that only does New Jersey going to talk about when it's on pause? Are we going to talk about RHONJ on Teresa's podcast when the show is not on the air? Does that, and if so, do people want that? This is a real question. Do people want to talk about RHONJ while we're in the thick of RHOC? I don't. Do you? I don't really want to.
depends on what the women are doing, I think,
Well, there you go.
off camera. Okay, well, that's very interesting. And I do know Michelle Feaster, am I saying her name right? That was Teresa's
Melissa Feaster, yeah.
co-host. Her husband's a big time agent, big time. So that explains why. Thank you for sharing that insight, why it's completely gone. I was like, that's so strange. Is it being rebranded? Are they still together? Okay.
When a lawyer comes forward and you sign the papers, you're like, you're not making another penny off my name, bitch. Scrub that shit off the internet. Scrubbed. And guys, that does not happen. You have fallouts and you go on to do other things, but scrubbing a podcast, come on now.
Well, of course, you do podcast consulting. I have a course coming.
I do.
One of the things with a podcast like Namaste Bitches, which has been out for years, as you already know, is they both could be making money residually off this for many years to come, just for people going back and listening to old episodes, listening for Easter eggs. I mean, so to your point, something must have gone so south for them to pull it completely, because you would think they would, even with a new podcast or the two of them breaking up, they'd want that out there because you're constantly making money.
Yep.
And that's
Feaster has a ton of money. So it's, but right. I mean, like for everyone, if Sarah and I went away and we never did this, you never heard from us again. And you just sat here and listened to back, people would listen to, I mean, I have like 2,000 back episodes. I would be making money with just not ever doing this again. And so would you. I mean,
I mean,
it's
you and
not
I
going to be.
both have unbelievable interviews. I mean, I just went back and listened to your Billy Bush interview,
Oh,
which isn't from that long ago, but when he was on, um, it was so great. I mean, Billy Bush is
love.
so iconic. And, when you think about his career completely canceled with that Trump tape, I mean, gone. And now his career has kind of been resurrected. He went through a divorce. I mean, he lost a lot. Like that was a really good interview. I love going back and listening.
Love. I loved him.
It's
Do
like
I
my
love all my interviews? Not really. Not really. Loved
like my
Billy Bush.
Bell interview. That's
Drake
still
Bell. You girl, reissue Drake Bell. Come on, one more time.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, we'll reissue it, girl. And yes, we do consulting. I do podcast, business, and life coach consulting. Well, guess what, Sarah? There's a fourth category now. Let's just talk about Bravo. No, I'm not joking. I now have people booking for 30 minutes or 1 hour. Just there's no business. The other day, someone said to me, "Hi, I know we're supposed to do a business consulting today, but I just want to talk Bravo." And I'm like, it's your hour. So I'm not going to argue that. I want to talk about Teresa. So anyone that just wants to chat one-on-one with me via Zoom, Bravo, slip into the DMs.
Oh my God, I love it.
I'm not, this isn't in my head. This really happens I sit here 8 to 9 on the weekend, 9 to 10. You don't think I have a life, do I? Um,
I love it.
what else do you want to talk about? So
Well,
there you go. Lawsuits. Melissa Feaster has moved on. Girl, just be pregnant. You have a cute husband and have a lot of money. Stay out of this. Like, and I don't mean it in a nasty way. I mean, like the opposite. I mean, like, just, oh God, be happy, Melissa Feaster. Be happy you got away from all this fucking toxicity. Sorry. These are honest emotions here. What else you got for me?
well, I'm curious what you think of Kyle Richards giving a
Hmm.
reason. Ms. Richards, I thought it was quite telling what she has to reveal about this upcoming season of Beverly Hills. First of all, she says she and Dorit not in a good place, hardly speaking, despite the fact that they are going through very similar situations. So that was like, you and I have talked about this, like that's kind of been the status of their friendship now for like a couple months. It's not really anything new. But she was asked about what's going on with Bozoma, what's going on with Jennifer Tilly, and I did not think the response was great. It wasn't this overwhelming, oh my God, the women are fitting in. We're just doing our thing. We're having, it's getting so interesting. There's going to be she really didn't sell it. She sort of said,